Everyone should find something that, really makes them happy and gives you purpose in life. And for me, that's the water.
My love for the water began as a young child. I'm the youngest of 7 kids. We grew up in public housing. It was one thing that we always had. My dad had a little 19-foot boat. He kept it on a trailer.
The water for me is a place to work out. It's a place to meditate. It's a place to think. It solves all the things I need in life.
Three, two, one, talk to me.
FLOHOM is an experiential hospitality company where we're taking a houseboat and reimagining that into a luxury floating suite. Think of it more as like a floating hotel, but with the same amenities as a vacation rental.
Talk to me.
When Brian came and he told me about this idea he had, this floating home hospitality company, I just had one question: where's the product and where can we get the product? And he told me about this builder that was in New York who was building these houseboats. Within a week, me and my wife was on a plane. Once we got up there to look at his product, I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'm all in.
I had the amazing experience of meeting my birth family, which led me to Annapolis, Maryland. There's a lot of history in Annapolis. Annapolis is the type of city that doesn't necessarily like change. So when you take a product in a company like FLOHOM, naturally there's going to be a lot of pushback. When people think about houseboats, most of the perception, most of the feedback people have is pretty negative, because historically houseboats didn't really aesthetically fit in a marina, and also the houseboats that were used as liveaboards, meaning someone living on it full time in a marina, weren't typically the type of person marinas wanted. So that's one aspect of the negative perception that we kind of had to break through. The second part is short-term rentals, or what most people call Airbnbs, that have their own polarization itself. So when you combine the two together, it can be a recipe for disaster, which has happened in a lot of different cases in the past. One of the biggest challenges that we had to prove at the early stages is that what we were doing was different. And I always say to people, there's always a right way and a wrong way to do something, and we chose to do it the right way. When you think about a houseboat, typically, it's pretty longer in length, but kind of more narrow. And one of the big differences between a FLOHOM is the actual width that creates just this enormous space where people walk into and are literally blown away. I mean, this is a luxury suite. The one that we're sitting in today is about 850 square feet of interior space, and then add another 850 of rooftop space, where you're getting 360-degree views, amazing sunrises and sunsets. One of the unique aspects and differentiating factors that we've realized is, putting these FLOHOMs in these urban areas with thriving waterfronts already. The FLOHOM is the experience already, and even if we were in the middle of nowhere, we would still have a great business. But actually putting these in the downtown Baltimore, in the downtown DC area, where people can literally walk out of the marina and they're surrounded by world-class restaurants and bars, that holds a whole new level of value add to what we offer that you really don't see that in the unique stay industry, where typically you're driving away from a metropolitan area to get away. Well, in our case, you can get away, but you don't have to leave the city. Prior to a FLOHOM type business model, really the only types of people that could access marinas are the ones that physically own the boats. Many boats cost just as much as a house. So, really for a small demographic of people. And so what we've done is open up access to a whole new demographic of people where you don't have to own a boat. You can book a FLOHOM, you get to walk the docks, you get to be amongst the multi-million-dollar boats, you get to see the incredible views of where these marinas are. And we just opened up a whole new way for a much larger demographic of people to experience the love of being on the water.
It's been pretty challenging trying to get into some of these marinas, to get through the management. Then that management got to go through the ownership group. It gets a bit challenging, but we've been very successful in accomplishing that. The marinas that we own, we don't have to go get permission from the ownership group. We are the ownership group. We want marinas to be accessed by all people, right? We know how to design, we know how to develop, we know how to separate, to make sure that the actual public don't actually get cross with, the tenants, but you're still giving them access, to the piers and the waterfront amenities.
I do believe there's a huge opportunity to redefine what a marina is and really make it into a futuristic resort where there is true public access to the waterfront like never before, where you have a concept like FLOHOM and the lodging component. You have mixed use commercial and residential, where both people in the marina can access and also anyone in the local community can access to, and really kind of create a thriving waterfront that really is what I always call for the people. It's not some exclusive for the 1%ers, it's really something for everyone. And that's what, to me, is what I get most excited about, is being able to create that. Because I ultimately think in society, that's really important, is that we create more access for everyone to be able to enjoy the water.
I've been fortunate enough to do some amazing things in my lifetime, to see a lot of things in a lot of places, right? But I know that the key to changing people's mindset and their thought is exposure. And in order to do that, we have to expose them to this type of environment, right? So that they can think different. They can have a bigger vision. You see all these big mega yachts around us. What they have, and the reason a lot of them are able to do these things, is because somebody gave them the information and backed by some resources to be able to do these things. What you're doing here, what y'all are creating, is you're feeding them real-time information that they can see this and they can visualize it to be able to go out and say, hey, I can do that. I'm talking to this guy here, grew up in public housing, all that. If he can do it, I can do it. Right? But if that story is not told, if you guys, with social media and all that stuff now, everybody can see it, right? Building brands, building businesses, all that's great. I mean, it's great, right? But we, and what we're building, we're changing lives. And that's the most important part for me, right? It's only so much money you need in life. There's only so many things you need in life, right? It's about changing lives.